them know that they want to not work 50% of the time from the office?
That would go through state government committee. So that's probably and that committee, I think, has already passed their budget. So that's through. So we'll be debating things like that on the House floor. So I'm
Okay,
not
well,
sure.
let me ask you from where you're at. You're a common sense gal, northern Minnesota. If you were to walk downtown, talk to half a dozen people, how many are thinking, boy, we're asking too much of them to go to work 50% of the time?
Not one person has even
Not a
argued
one
that.
up there.
Not a one. They're
See, I
all
think,
they're all like get back to work like the rest of us are doing. So, most people have 50% is pretty generous. The people that I know that have remote work schedules right now are spending time in at least a 50%. So I don't see anything unreasonable with that request at all.
well, and you probably knew it. I'm feeling like a knucklehead on this side. I thought COVID was over 3 years ago. I mean, I'm just throwing it
Right.
somewhere in three.
Correct.
So I had no idea we were still working from home in the COVID era technique. I'm not opposed to if a job can be done, with some flexibility. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but we threw everyone at home because of COVID. Do we have any of the guarantees in place that anybody's actually working? I think I saw one story. A gal said, I'm going to have a hard time finding daycare.
Well, I
Well,
think, and
who
I'm
was
on the
watching
show.
I'm sorry, Rev,
Yeah.
who was watching their kid while they were working? Or I was watching
Right.
my kid. You know what I'm saying? It seems like a
Yeah.
strange argument.
I think it is. And if that's the case where people didn't have childcare, then that raises the question that I've been saying on the Children and Family Committee is we just spent $30 million to build a new agency to build the government budget by, 40%. The government budget in St. Paul grew with another agency cabinet level for the Waltz administration. And it's not adding one childcare spot. So if childcare is a top priority, which is one of the top priorities I hear in northern Minnesota. And if that's true for state employees, then why is it that we are building agency and money down in St. Paul and not actually help build and grow providers and make sure that we have childcare, affordable childcare, and enough providers in the state of Minnesota? So we're working on that too. But you make a
Well,
great point.
I mean, yes, you've been watching your kid. Wait a minute, I've been paying you. Haven't you had child care? But let me throw one more at you, if I may. And I'm not ripping you because I don't know, but I'm presuming you betted against this thing. The House of Representatives is getting a new remodel to their building
Correct.
at the cost of about $750 million, $750 million, some number like that.
Right. Right.
So good for y'all. It's going to look wonderful. But am I getting the impression half the people aren't going to work half the time anyway? We ever come close to needing this building this big remodeled?
I've said that since I just started in last session,
Yeah.
last biennium, and I said that from the beginning. This makes zero sense. I mean, we as elected officials are there 5 months. The
Yeah.
first year, 3 months the second year, and the rest of the time we're back in our district and we travel back and forth. And sure, we have staff that are there, but there are times they're working from home too, and they work in the office. But they needed some updates for ventilation and things like that, which I can understand for older buildings. But 750 million to create a Taj Mahal is ridiculous when we have cuts in schools, and we have our own state buildings falling apart in all of our communities for whether it's schools, colleges, infrastructures, and so roads and bridges. It just seems like a complete misplaced priority.
Well, and for me, it's just a matter of half those people working there are only going half time. We don't need
Correct.
it. And again, you tell me. So in the last 3 years, then, when we sent everybody home for COVID, I get the first year out, you're keeping payment on the places and that sort of thing because you're going to have to bring them back. But we never brought them back. Did we ever scale down the amount of rental properties and the rest of the stuff the state is into? Or have we been paying full rent for closed buildings, basically, for a maintenance guy to come in and keep it updated?
Well, from what I see, your latter part of your sentence correct is there's a lot of state buildings that seem to be virtually unoccupied, even around the Capitol. I'm in one right now, the Centennial Building, and we're occupying all that space for a 2-year renovation. And there's several other buildings that, as you go through the tunnels, you can see there. It's the landscape down here at the Capitol is not full buildings of state employees.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's where it bothers me quite a little bit. We're spending the money keeping this stuff up, and there's been and let me just ask you, maybe I should know you better than do this. I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but didn't the governor step in it by bringing this up? And what I mean by that is he comes out of nowhere and says, I want you people back at 50%.
Right.
Those folks are upset. What are you talking about? I go back to 50%. They're mad. On the other side, guys like me are mad because I'm like, why haven't they been back? And now everybody's mad at him. Did he just literally step in it? And if you're going to do it, you might as well made it 100%. Go back to work.
Well, I think at the end of the day, there's two issues. There's a property issue. There's a management of money issue as taxpayers, as government agencies. But there's another issue of leadership for employees. And that comes to the administration, whether it's government administration, nonprofit administration, or private administration. It's leadership. And if that communication wasn't happening with the employees of state government, that's unfortunate, because that conversation should have been taking place with employees 3 years ago, because it was a COVID directive, not a lifetime directive. That's two different things.
I love the way you phrase that, Representative. Thank you very much. One last thing, just before I go, I want to bring it up as much as I can today. Are you Catholic, if I can ask?
I am not Catholic. I am Lutheran.
All right, same here. I married a Catholic person, but obviously the Pope passing this morning is going to be a huge deal.
It is.
To all our friends, Catholic friends, those that are having an issue today. Our prayers are with you. I just going to find out if you were. This becomes quite an interesting time. Again, as Lutherans, we can talk about it.
Yes.
I find it fascinating. The whole how they go about getting another pope, the white smoke, the cardinals all making bids on paper, and then it's all. I find this is going to be fascinating. That's all I throw it out there.
I was watching the Pope on Easter, and I thought it was just an unbelievable witnessing him, and then seeing him, and then seeing this morning when I woke up that he passed away on Easter. I think, I send out my prayers to everybody too. I have a lot of Catholic friends and served a lot of seniors that were Catholics over my lifetime, and did the rosary to many of them during COVID because the priests couldn't come in. And it was really important for seniors to have that closure. So, I think today is going to be a day for everybody to, have a lot of deep meditation and prayer for Catholics and for Christians around the world, to be noting that. And I think it's just it's a sad day, but it's a holy moment too, I think, for Christians around the world.
I think it does a lot for just Christianity around the world. Again,
Absolutely.
we Lutherans can watch what they do and say, wow, they've been doing this since St. Peter. And it's awe-inspiring to actually watch. So we'll go to break with that. Thank you, Representative Zeleznikar, and I keep practicing your name so I can get it better to roll off the tongue. We come back. We're going to talk a little budget. We're going to talk a little bonding, all that right after this.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Dust from gravel roads and driveways does more than make your car dirty inside and out. It gets down into your lungs, and it's bad for your health. Now there's an environmentally friendly solution for your dust problems. It's called Dust Lock. Dust Lock can control all your summer dust problems with just one application. Protect your vehicle and your lungs. Learn more at dustlock.com.
kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
We're lucky to have her. She's Representative Natalie Zeleznikar. Representative, thank you for coming on the program again. I want to talk a little budget process with you, if you would. You're in there. You're an assistant leader. Where are we, the House compared to the Senate, compared to the governor, on the kind of money we're looking to spend? Can you tell us how close or far apart we are?
Well, I'm going to find out a lot more this week because the leadership team will be have a lot of meetings this week. But one of the big holdups right now in the House is Democrats are holding the entire budget bill hostage for things like paying for 100% for healthcare costs for illegal immigrants. So that's a big deal right now. So I'm on the health committee. So that's a big sticking point right now to get these numbers to line up. And then we'll be meeting with the leadership team on the Senate side for Republicans to figure out exactly how we're going to blend together differences. But we got to get it out of the House first. And so there's some committees that have not gotten their bills out of the House. And that's the first step before you can start getting things to match with the Senate side.
Fair enough. Let me ask you, I was reading some story, I'm sure it was in the agenda today, about them being very upset with the opposition is trying. It's so hard, they're saying, to find out what exactly to cut to get to the number that they want, which is about $66 billion, give or take, depending whose side you're on.
Yep.
Am I crazy here? And you feel free to say, yes, Al, you're nuts. 4 years ago, we were at $52 billion.
Right.
Is anybody suggesting whatsoever, how about we start baseline at 52 or 54, because there's some, I get it, increase in, inflation, and start from there and then work it the other way? Why is it so hard to come up? They're talking cuts from a $71 billion budget, which is a 40% increase. No one does that.
You're 100% right. The problem is Republicans have one half of 1/3 of the chamber. So we have a Democrat governor. We have the Senate is Democrat by one vote. And so we'll see if we have blue dog Democrats in the Senate that want a budget and want to get government spending back down to a normal line. And the House is tied. So right now, we're trying to get a bill out for exactly that reason, because the free health care to illegals has no federal match. And that's going to cost us over $200 million. And so that's just one example. We got the train to Duluth that was $194 million. So we got a whole bunch of things on the chopping block, but we got to get it through the House with an equal split with Democrats.
I get the feeling, and we're relatively new, you and I, doing this radio thing together, but I'm getting the feeling you and I are a lot alike. We live out in St. Minnesota. We think differently than most. How firm, because I'm going to tell you out here as a Republican, and my Republican friends that I chat with, they are begging for you all to hold that line, to hold that line.
That's exactly why we don't have a budget bill out of the health committee right now, because we're holding the line. Illegal immigrants right now, I don't know I have so many people calling me on the issue that they don't have free health care, and their health premiums are going through the roof. We have veterans who are struggling to, I just heard bills to get food boxes and to get things for services. So this has absolutely been a battle in the House right now. We have free college for, we have all kinds of things going on. Yeah, under 80,000, we wanted to tie that to actual professions that, need people, whether it's public safety, healthcare. They want to be able to get a degree in anything you want to do, regardless if you stay in Minnesota or we need the job. Well, the Department of Economic Development already tells us where we need the jobs. So we should be tying free education to where we need jobs. Trade
and free education, if I can interrupt it, is not dependent on you being a Minnesota citizen or a citizen of the U.S.
Correct, and that's for people whose parents make under $80,000 a year. So. And if we're going to do it even for, Minnesotans that are here legally, let's tie it to being a police officer, being a teacher, working as a nurse or a doctor or whatever it is, professions that we need, ambulance drivers, paramedics, everything.
See, if you continue, and you do that very well, by the way, continue to put that out there like that, I think the Republicans can win this battle, if you will. The idea that you're 1/3 of 1/6%, the Republicans who put you all in there We want you to hold that line, find a way of cutting
Absolutely.
this back. But you give me the number. Is it 50-50 chance that'll hold the line? Where are
Well,
your other Republicans sitting?
Oh, I think everybody in the Republican Party sees what we need to do, and we understand that. The issue is we've got, we got to move a budget bill. We got session deadlines by May 19th. We're all saying, let's hold it. That's why we went into Easter break without having committees with a budget bill, which we need to get it to Ways and Means. We can't even get our health bill out of the committee because the Democrats are voting everything down. They do not want to give up $200 million to illegals. And the data shows that there's 17,396 illegal immigrants right now in 4 months since the Democrats put this into effect January 1st that are already on the coverage. They told us it was going to be just a little over 7,000. And that means that's 100% Minnesota taxpayers on the hook while we cut schools, we cut transportation for the private schools that's been around for decades. And we're cutting people. We're not really giving people tax breaks. I mean, his it's 7 cents for every $100 you spend. So if you go to Walmart, you're going to save 15 cents on $200 you spend. I mean, that's Governor Walz's idea of a tax cut, which is ridiculous.
All right. You keep talking the talk because you make it sound very, it's good to the ear. You hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You say it very distinctly. I appreciate it. One last thing. I only have a minute. Will there be a bonding bill? They didn't get one done last year. There seems to be some need for it. Can you even do that while we're cutting everything else, start borrowing money for a bonding bill? Can that get done in the next 30 days?
I think we will see a bonding bill. I think that we'll be seeing that for sure because we got some serious water issues to have safe drinking water, and we also have some water. Duluth has a airport tower that's the third oldest in the country. So there's some really important critical things that are on the list. While the airport's not directly in my district, it serves a region, and there's many projects like that. So I think bonding, we own the properties, we have a real important interest as taxpayers to keep up with it, or it's just going to cost us more down the line.
Representative, thank you very much. I'm completely out of time. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks a million. Have a great day, everyone.
Representative Natalie Zeleznikar on the Al Travis Show.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria.